Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of everyone's favorite short show where you get road stories from the long and illustrious career of former WWE referee Jimmy Korderas. This is Storytime with Jimmy. My name is Donnie DeSilva, and I'm just here to guide you through the fun, folks, because Jimmy, I have to tell you, the other day, when I was on my way to meet up with you as we were heading down to a WWE PLE, I was chatting with my dear friend, Davey Boy Smith Jr. And he says, "What you up to, bud?" And I said, "Oh, I'm about to go meet up with Jimmy Korderas." He says, "Oh, I love Jimmy. Say hello for me. He's the Forrest Gump of the wrestling business. He's been everywhere. He was on the plane ride with Dynamite from Toronto and Hamilton back to Calgary after he messed up his back. I think he told me Dynamite got wheeled into the plane or wheeled off the plane and just immediately started drinking." And I said, "Jimmy, is this true? What's the story?" And you said, "That is true. How did he know that story? I never told him." Jimmy, can you tell me the story and tell the audience the story?
So it all began in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Steel City, Cops Coliseum, tag team match, the Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy Smith versus the team of Don Morocco and Cowboy Bob Orton. Now check that out for some veterans, right? What a match that could have been. That night, though, I was not working around the ring. I was not refereeing as of that time because it was in 1986. I hadn't started refereeing until 1987. I was working the merchandise. So I was up in the concourse when this match was going on. And, you know, I hear the normal sounds you hear from a match. You hear the ring, you hear some bumping here and there. You hear the crowd screaming and oohing and ahhing and booing or whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden there was an odd sound from the crowd like this, ooh. And it sounded like confusion. And I wanted to see what was going on, but I couldn't leave the station unmanned. So finally somebody came by that worked for the office. I said, "Can you just keep an eye on this stand? I want to see what's going on out there." So I go out to take a look. And when I got out there to look, they were loading Dynamite onto the backboard to get him on the stretcher to wheel him out. And I was like, "Oh man, that can't be good," obviously. So the match apparently continued. I didn't see the rest of the match. I went back to make sure that the stand was okay. And once the night was over and I was finished doing all the stuff I had to do, all my duties, Jack says to me, "Well, they're going to take Dynamite to the airport in Toronto. He has to fly back to Calgary, but he can't fly alone because he's going to be on a backboard the entire flight. Can you accompany him? Because we got nobody to accompany him. Davey Boy is staying on the road to continue the tour." So I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I could fly with him. See, we'll fly you there. We'll just fly you back. You'll be in and out, no problem." So, you know, I get on the plane. I don't get on the plane yet. Hold on. I got to tell this first. Okay. So I go to the airport. You know, Dynamite was taken to the airport in an ambulance. You know, they escorted him to the airport there. They were getting him off into the stretcher to wheel him in. I parked my car and went to the terminal to check in for my flight. And of course, I run into this young lady who was checking me in. And she said, "Yes, which flight?" I gave her the flight information and my ID and that sort of stuff. And she says, "How many bags are you checking?" I said, "None." She says, you don't have any carry-ons either?" I said, "No, ma'am, I don't. No bags at all."
I'm a drug
She looks
dealer,
at me, she
ma'am.
goes, "Yeah, I don't know what to tell you." To me, I don't know what the big deal is. I don't have any bags.
I've got everything stored in my prison wallet.
So I explained to her, I'm accompanying someone on the plane and I'm coming right back to Toronto. That's all.
Of course.
And she looks and she goes with this look on her face like disdain. "Oh, you're traveling with that wrestling guy. All right, here's your boarding pass. Try to be at the gate at least 30 minutes before your departure. Thank you and have a good flight." And she hands it to me like she might as well have thrown it at me. And like her tone was like so freaking aggravating. I wanted, the most condescending bitch I've ever encountered at that time. I'm like,
Oh.
you got to be kidding me. No, like this is customer service. Are you kidding me? But I didn't want to tick anybody off because that's all I needed was now to go through security and her giving them the Iggy and pulling me over and doing like a full body scan and checkup, and figured not ain't having that happen. So I thanked her anyways, and I went to meet the ambulance guys and got to go with them and got special pass. They got me through really quickly since Dynamite was unable to walk and all that sort of stuff. So they boarded us first on the plane, got him situated, and it was a 767. And people who don't know these old Boeing 767s, they have 2 seats along the sides, on both sides, with the clump of seats in the middle. So they put us on the sides. They put the seats down so they could accommodate the stretcher. Mm-hmm. Had the seats folded forward, and they strapped it in the whole bit. And he had the 2 seats by the window, like right in front of where the emergency exit doors were. So I had an emergency exit seat, which was cool for me because I had legroom now. Not that I needed it, but I had it. So we get all situated. The flight goes off, takes off. We're all good. Partway through the flight, of course, the flight attendants come through with the drink cart. And they asked me if I'd like something to drink. I said, yeah, I'll have a Coke, please, whatever, Cool. Like, sir, would you like something to drink? They say to Dynamite. He says, yeah, I'll have a vodka and orange juice. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. I said, Dynamite, should you be having that right now? He says, yeah, it helps kill the pain. I said, all right. And a little while later, excuse me, he says, actually, he said to me, now that I recall, he says to me, can you hit the call button on the thing? And I hit the call button. She goes, yes, sir. And I said, yeah, the gentleman here needs something. He says, yeah, can I have another one, please? I went, uh-oh. So he had 2 that I saw, and then I fell asleep, and until we started descending and landing. So I have no idea what happened while I was asleep. And we landed at Calgary Airport. And when we got off the plane, there was Michelle, who was Dynamite's wife, and Julie Hart, Brett's wife. They met the plane. They met us there, and of course, Michelle escorted Tommy to the airport. And Julie says to me, "So what are you doing? When is your flight?" And my flight was at 12:25 a.m. that night. We had landed at 7 p.m. So I had a little time to kill. She says, "Would you like to get something to eat?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to put you out of your way." She said, "No problem. Don't worry. She took me to this nice place, but the one problem was, before getting on the plane, I hadn't had a chance to clean up from all my duties at the arena. So all day long, I'm still in the same clothes I wore all day long and worked all day long in. So do you know that feeling where you can't smell yourself?
Yeah, of course. You don't smell your own stink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you go nose blind.
I'm not saying I stunk, but if I did, I didn't know it.
Right.
But she was polite enough not to say anything in the car. I was wondering why she kept rolling down the window, but so she took me to eat, and she says, "Is there anything you'd like to do now? Do you want anything? Can I take you anywhere?" I said, "Yeah, just take me back to the airport. I'll hang out there for a little while." So she dropped me off at the airport. I had a couple hours to kill, went to the smoking section, and started, I had my bad habit back then. I used to smoke cigarettes, and
sure,
just hung out there until my flight came up. And when I got my boarding pass, I purposely, obviously, asked for a seat in the smoking section of the plane, because you used to be able to smoke in the planes back then. So, but I had this weird thing where I'd like to choose the first seat in the smoking section, which was right behind the last seat in the non-smoking section. Just because I thought, what's the point in having no barrier between the rows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just as it was more of a study on how people would react with people smoking and blowing smoke in the back of their head.
Right. You're blowing smoke right into the guy who's sitting one row in front of you in the non-smoking section.
In the non-smoking section. Yeah. So,
do me a favor. When you come over to my place in the summer and you want to go for a swim in my pool, stay in the peeing section.
Oh, my goodness.
because it makes about as much sense as the non-smoking section on a plane. I just had a thought that dawned on me.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Was Dynamite still in gear?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was.
I was going to say they wouldn't go through the hassle of changing him.
No, they couldn't get his tights off.
So he has tights on, his boots on. They probably did. They put a shirt on him.
Yeah, they covered him up.
You were working merch that day, so I guess you never actually saw what happened.
No.
So I mentioned I was there, and my memory's a little foggy because I was just a little kid. But I did manage to look it up, and Dynamite hit the ropes with a ton of force. There was a drop down from Orton. He went over the top of Orton, a spot that you see 5 million times in your career.
Right.
But Dynamite talked about this in his book. The minute he jumped over Orton, he felt something go in his back.
Right.
And then he hit the ropes on the opposite side, and Morocco came over, let go of the tag rope, moved to the middle of the ring, got his leg up, and hit Dynamite right in the middle of the back. I don't know if that knee contributed or had anything to do with the injury, because Dynamite says he felt the back go as soon as he hopped over the drop down. I don't know if Morocco got the knee up just coincidentally. I don't know if he saw something on Dynamite's face and said, uh-oh, he's hurt. I better give him a reason to cover up. I don't know what it was. I'd love to talk to Morocco and see if he even remembers what he was thinking at that moment. But I know that Dynamite didn't even bump. He just crumbled.
Right.
And then they kept putting the boots to him for a while till they realized he was hurt. And then he tagged out and he was done for the night.
Wow. Maybe it was just the cutoff spot. I don't know.
I don't know. It was pretty innocuous.
But I will say this about Dynamite. He was very nice though. Before I'd left though, he reached into his leather jacket that his wife was holding for him, and he reached in the pocket, pulled something out, and he told me, "Come over here," and he put something in my hand, and I knew what it was. I could feel it right away. It was money. I said, you don't have to do this. I said, this is my job. I don't mind. This is fine. He said, take it or I'll get up now and kick your ass. I said, no, okay. What am I supposed to do? He says, and then, then Michelle says, well, take it and buy your girlfriend something nice for Christmas.
Yeah.
I said, I don't have a girlfriend. She says, well, go and buy yourself a girlfriend. I don't know. At least they were funny about it, So I put it in my pocket and I didn't check it until I got to the airport. Give me $200.
Oh,
for 1986.
That's like $1 million back then.
That was large, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money in 1986. Still a lot of money today. A $200 tip.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's still a lot of money today.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a story, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear more stories from Jimmy Korderas, maybe you want to hear about someone in particular, maybe you want to hear a story about a specific incident that you think that Jimmy may have been a part of, just send us an email and send in your questions at questions@hugepopradio.com. Thanks so much, my friend.
Oh, my pleasure, buddy.